Hey, hey, hey. I am so excited to be going live with you today because today's a special day. I am launching a brand new series for Association Chat. And, if you follow any of the work that I do, you know that community is so, so important to me. So when I started talking with Dana and Juno and talking about community and the work that we could do together, this idea for a collaboration came together. And after several discussions, here we are talking about this new series that is launching today. So the new video is out. You're going to be seeing video after video, but what am I talking about? What is this series? What is it that you need to know? Well, okay, so the main thing that you need to know is that it's why community matters. Why community matters. You can subscribe to the playlist over here. Subscribe to the Why Community playlist. Here's the bit.ly link at the bottom. But the thing that you need to know most is that this is a series that's been lovingly created. These are short informational videos that are meant to teach you not just a little bit about why community matters, but also how to make communities stronger. How do you make a community that thrives? So with that, we thought we would start out with 5 pillars of a healthy community. What are the 5 pillars of strong communities? And Josh Hotsenpiller, CEO of JUNO, created this great ebook and all of this information about that. So the first 5 episodes are centered around that. And then I am pulling from guests who have talked with me about community and how they relate back to creating communities that thrive. And so the whole series is a series of 10 different videos. They'll have takeaways connected with them. There are so many different things that you can do with it. But today is the very first episode, meant to be short, informational, fun. And so I want to hear back from you. I want to hear what you think about it. If you are interested in catching each and every episode, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel for Association Chat, which I hope that you already have. But if you haven't, you can go there. You can also go to associationchat.com and you can check out under community. You'll see that they're posted there each week as they come out. But they're coming out each Wednesday. I know today's not Wednesday as we're launching this, but each Wednesday there's going to be a new episode for the duration of the 10 episodes. And here we are. If you're ready to see the first one, comment, let me know. I would love to see who's watching and see who's out there. But here is the very first episode. I'm so proud of it. And it is the very first pillar that you're going to learn about. And here it goes. When talking about community, you have to give people a vision. Hi, I'm Kiki L'Italienne of AssociationChat.com, and this week I talk with Josh Hotsenpiller, CEO of JUNO, about why you need to give your members a vision for their community.
So vision leaks. It leaks in or out. There's an old saying: if it's a mist in the pulpit, it's a fog in the pew. And this is all about vision. This is all about where are we going and why does it even matter? And we're asking people to invest their time, money, and energy into us. And every human asks the same question: well, where are we going? And why does it matter? And I think one of the difficult things as a leader is we always have to be able to communicate back to our people the vision. Because the visions should be always evolving. You know, if we're going the same place, how many of you have ever gone to vacation the same place year over year, and after a while you're like, I don't want to go there anymore?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The same is true for organizations. I don't want to do the same thing we did before. So where are we going, and why does it matter? And I always say this: if you went and polled 50 members and simply said, answer this question, where are we going and why does it matter? How consistent would those 50 answers be?
So remember, when you're thinking about how your communities function, think about giving your members a vision for why your community matters. right. So, what did you think? Oh my gosh, it was so fun, right? So they're short. They're usually 2 to 3 minutes long tops, and you're going to have 10 different episodes, and it's featuring different people. So we have the first 5 episodes are pulling the five pillars of community from Josh Hotsenpiller. But then we're going to have Daybreaker creator Radha Agrawal, the creator of Mortified David Nadelberg, and social sculptor Philippa P.B. Hughes, who is also going to be featured on the series. I'm so excited about it. Really, I think that there's a lot that can be learned here. Takeaways that you can glean from these different episodes. They're super short. They don't require a lot. You can watch it in a couple of minutes and hopefully get some idea. What did we just learn there? We learned that sharing vision is super important. So I hope that you get a lot out of it. I hope that you subscribe so that you're able to watch the different episodes as they become available. Again, if you want to subscribe to the playlist, I tried to make it super easy. You can go to YouTube and search for Association Chat on YouTube, so you can subscribe to the channel. But you can also go to bit.ly, and you can go to this bit.ly link to Y Community Playlist, all lowercase, bit.ly Y Community Playlist, right? And you will get directly, direct access to that playlist. You can subscribe to specifically to that playlist and only see those things. So very, very cool. Any thoughts, any comments, any questions as we're going along? I think that this video series is the beginning of something really great, because I've had the opportunity to talk with Josh, to work with his team. And I think that this question about community is super hot topic right now. Everybody's trying to pay attention to what it is, but it's kind of lost a lot of its meaning along the way, kind of like the word engage. What does community really mean? And I think that what we're all really looking for is this idea of belonging, and this idea that people know that they belong, that they know that they come back, that there's a place that they can come back to. And I think that a lot of association leaders are probably hoping that that equals loyalty or return, people who decide to continue their memberships or come back to their events. And at any rate, what are we all trying to do here anyway with community? We're trying to connect. So I hope that you take this video series and you run with it, you learn from it, you engage with it, and ask questions if you have questions along the way. And as a special bonus, if you are watching this and you thought, how did this Josh Hotsenpiller get involved in community anyway? Where does he come from? What does he do? Well, there's an interesting story that Josh shared with me that I recorded that's not part of the series. It's not exactly about community itself, but it's about this question of wisdom and how we can gain wisdom from our community, okay? And I think that this shares a little bit of an interesting anecdote. So if you're watching today and you want to learn a little bit more about Josh, then I hope you enjoy this quick little snippet from another interview, another discussion that we had, talking about community and also the wisdom from community. I'm going to do this. Okay. Now it says it's broad.
So I found myself.
All right, let me find exactly the right spot. Here we go.
So one of the things that I've always been interested in is wisdom. And one of the reasons why is I've never been overly scholastic, but I've had a very strong emotional IQ. And so I found myself trying to figure out how to navigate from, scholastic math, science was never my thing, but how do I gain intelligence? And it's wisdom. And one of the things I really began to seek was the wisdom of others. I would go all the time to people that were way advanced with me, and I would just ask them questions and questions and questions. And I couldn't believe, first of all, how interested they were in sharing with me, but how much I learned. So as that journey began to progress, I started a company called Wisdom Capture that actually went in and filmed the wisdom of executives to scale down to their employees so they could learn from them. And when I did, the US State Department reached out to me because they'd heard about it and said, hey, we also, a guy at the US State Department, they said, we want you to be one of our speakers, our global ambassador speakers. But we also, one of the guys at the State Department was running TEDx and Tyson's, which is a really unique spot right outside of DC. And they asked me to come speak on wisdom. And so I did this talk on wisdom. And I basically said this, I did say this. If you know how to access Wi-Fi, the same questions you ask for Wi-Fi, if you do that, you can access the wisdom of others. And so here's the 4 simple questions that everybody should ask themselves if they want to get the wisdom of others. Here it is. Am I actively seeking to connect? Am I actively trying to connect to the wisdom of others? So think about this when you're on Wi-Fi. Like you go into wherever you go to, a bookstore, whatever it might be, and you go, all right, am I trying to do this? Am I actually trying to connect? Or am I not even thinking about it? The next one that's really funny is just, are my settings open? So when you go in there and you're like, okay, why can't I connect to Wi-Fi? I'm trying to connect to Wi-Fi. Why can't I? Oh my gosh, my Wi-Fi settings are off. My Wi-Fi settings are off. You got to turn your settings on. And so I think so often so many people go, I really want the wisdom of others, but all of your settings are off. What does that mean? It means that you're not vulnerable. It means that you're not open to somebody else connecting to you. You may want them to, but you may be prideful. You may be insecure. You may not be actually like, you may have that big sign on your forehead that says, I've got it all figured out. And so therefore your settings aren't open.
Wow.
The third one is I love this one. This is a great question to ask. Have you ever gone into like a plane or a hotel and you turn your settings on and all of a sudden you've got 19 different, you know what I'm saying? It's like you got 19 available connections, but they're not all available.
Right.
Some of them are locked and some of them are open. Do you know what people don't do very often? They don't do inventory of their available connections.
Ooh,
there's so many more people that you know that are interested in making you better that you just forgot about. So one of the things I tell people all the time is to do a connections grid and go, who are the people in my life that are just exceptional leaders? Who are my creatives? Who are my high empathy people? Who are my high IQ people? Do the grid of your available connections and then all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to that person in forever, but they're the most creative person that I know.
Yeah.
That person is the most strong leader that I've ever met. That person everyone loves them. They're so likable. So do your connections grid and keep that close.
Okay. What did you think about that? I thought it was really, really interesting to hear Josh talk a little bit about how you can take take stock, do an inventory of the connections that you have and figure out, who's good at what and what type of people are they, and really think about those connections that you have, that network that you have, and how you might be able to best use that, not in a manipulative way, but in a smart way. So many of us are so connected that we're not actively using the connections that we have when there's probably some hidden gold there, some hidden treasure that's just waiting to be found. A question that came up while we were listening to that segment, and I popped it up at the bottom, but I really wanted to bring attention to it, was Lee Wentz asked a great question, and I smile because Lee is just a brilliant human, and I really enjoy talking with Lee on a regular basis. She's a colleague at Techer International and just a brilliant woman in her own right. But she asked this question, how does community differ from network? And I thought that it was a really great question because I think that the two words get confused often, and you can have a network but not have a community. And if you don't know what I mean, think about how that feels to you to say that you are part of a community versus you're part of a network. Network can, to me, A network can mean that it's kind of like what Josh was talking about. You know, this ongoing list of people that you're connected with somehow. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're part of a community. Community suggests, again, to me, there's probably a better definition out there, but community to me suggests that there is, and this is my response, some sort of sense of belonging, where you have this common identity that you find with other people, whether it's through common goal, mission, behavior, whatever, you name it. Because you think about the different types of communities that are out there. You can have a group. I belong to the Women's Club of Winona, and it's a group of women who care about a little town in southern New Jersey called Winona, and we work on things together. That's our common purpose. And I would say I belong to that community. I'm part of that community, just like I'm part of this community in Winona. But my network is much larger than that. And it has close and also tenuous, not very close relationships that are part of that network, where it's like, I know of those people, we are connected, but I don't necessarily consider myself part of the same community. Maybe we went to high school together, maybe we went to, maybe we connected about some sort of topic once upon a time, but we wouldn't recognize ourselves in a group as part of that group unless it had become its own community. And Lisa, shared values. Shared values is an excellent way to identify community. Yeah. And I also think that the reason why the word belonging probably comes back to me over and over is because it's also that you want to be part, you opt in. So shared values, but you're opting into being part of something bigger, right? And I can be part of somebody else's network, but I haven't necessarily said, and I opt into, I know that person. But if I've opted into, say, belonging to something or being a part of a community, whether that's a learning thing, I'm on a learning journey with that person, we share the same values, but we choose to also connect over those values, that choice to belong is, I think, an important part of community. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you got something out of this, and I hope you'll check out the rest of the series. This is going to roll out a new short video, 3-minute video, week after week, starting after this every Wednesday for the next 9 weeks. You're going to be seeing each new video as it comes out. And the next 4 are going to feature Josh, and then I have some other friends that are coming to share a little bit about things you need to know about community, to make it a healthy, thriving, and strong community. Because you can have a community that's not healthy. I'm sure we've all been part of them, but who wants that? And probably if you're paying attention to this, you want to be part of a community that thrives. And so what goes into that? And how do you set it up so that your community is strong, it's healthy, and it is serving the purpose that it needs to serve so that you get the most out of it, or your members get the most out of it and out of that experience. So with that, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a great time. I know I did, and I'm super excited to be a part of this project. If you want to subscribe, here again is the Y Community playlist that you can go and follow and subscribe to. And if you want to show support, if you have this idea in your head that or in your heart, that supporting Association Chat and the work that Association Chat does is something that would make you feel better as a human being, and you want to show support for that, there's a Patreon page. You can go to patreon.com/associationchat. I want to tell you, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I actually lost 2 Patreon patrons over the past 3 months. I don't know what I did wrong, but if you want to support, I definitely pay attention to every Patreon patron that's out there supporting, some from the very beginning. And that would definitely be something that would make your dog happier. It would make everything, I'm sure, the sun shine brighter. And I don't know. That would just in general be a good thing, right? So on this Friday afternoon here in the mid-Atlantic region of the United States, I bid you farewell. And as always, I want you to keep asking questions to learn every day. Why? Because as Joseph Campbell once said, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. I hope you have a great weekend, everyone.